The time being 9 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve?
I'll second.
What's, this closes at this labor negotiations deal? Is that
I
close?
guess
another
we'll
matter.
find out when Tess
Yeah,
comes.
it's another matter.
It's another matter?
Yeah.
What, I'm just curious what,
It's closed.
I know, what's it about though? Like, why is it so secret? What's it about?
Personnel.
Is it a personnel issue?
Yep.
And personnel
I'd say we'll
committee
find
was
it.
not involved in that, or what?
I think that we should just wait until we go into closed session.
I know, but it's hard to approve agenda when we don't even know what it is. That's the problem. If I'm gonna approve it, I need to know what's going on. And if it's a personnel issue, I guess I'm curious why, at least I'm on the personnel
there
committee and I'm not
litigation
aware of
involved?
what's going on, so.
I don't know.
Must have been just called
No,
by
right,
Tess.
There could possibly be some litigation involved. There isn't a lot of information. There isn't really.
We
no
have a
info.
first, we have a motion and a second. I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with correction in those in attendance. There was one, which I already talked to Michelle about. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first appointment is Valerie Green, the DNR land acquisition.
I made a couple maps, let people know. And sorry about not being here last week. One of those fires in northern Minnesota were awfully exciting.
I bet.
I don't know that anybody wants to keep them.
Did you go up to them?
Yeah.
Attend it? Yeah. Wow,
I'm
it was
not doing
exciting.
the hot, dirty work. I'm paying people because they tend to like that.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
It's exciting.
Yes.
Did they get that one out in Canada?
Pardon?
Did they get that big fire up in Canada?
Oh, gosh, no. And the 1,000-hour fuel moisture contents up there are like 12 to 15%. That makes a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
it's
read
an
too.
incredible fire.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure until yesterday whether I was coming to talk to you about the Han purchase or the Van Gundy, so I put them both on the map.
Okay.
Technically, it's the Van Gundy one because that's a little further along in the process. So we have people come to us that want to sell us land. We have some criteria to meet where it is in the county. Does it join another piece of state land? Does it have access with the public? Because not all of our land does. At this point, this is just informing you guys of this. I think there's talk that sometime soon it will become a Northeast to approve acquisitions, like you do for the Division of Wildlife right now for forestry. It's just a here's what we're doing to let you guys know. So Van Gundy's that's a little sliver of wooded land. They locked that off a few years ago, and it butts up to state land. It's got a nice trail system that they put on. Not a big piece, but it wasn't doing them a whole lot of good.
Okay.
And then Carol Hahn's son called us, and her house is across the road on the south side of the road, and the rest of that 40 on the north side is some pretty rough land. Very steep, cedar trees. So if we end up getting that one, that will probably become one of those projects that we do a lot of burning on.
It's all surrounded by state land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
That's really one of our big criteria is
It adjoins the state.
It joins stuff that the state already has, and we're just making those units bigger.
So do you also go to the townships and let them know what's going on?
This is part of that process. I know the townships aren't necessarily always in favor of it. The state pays payment in lieu of taxes.
Right.
So often the county comes out better than when it's in private landowner, but the way the pass-through goes to the townships, they don't. Which is nothing that we can change, so I keep telling them, you guys should go to your state association and try to get that changed, because, you know, the county can't do
No.
anything about that.
No, it's a formula.
Yeah, it's a formula. Yeah. So, whether they do that or not, I don't know.
They've been trying.
Well, they should, you know, because it makes sense for it to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense that if the county does better, they should do better.
Right.
So we're only talking about the lower one
The
now,
Van Gundy.
right?
Right now, yeah, that
Okay.
was, you know, to the point that they've accepted the offer.
So you're basically, this is just information. You don't need any action from us because you will do it either way?
Yes, at this point. Now, it wouldn't hurt probably to just have a motion and approve it in case this rule changes real soon, because there's talk about that.
Oh,
And
okay.
they say, oh, everything you did in 2016 needs approval, or something. So I guess it wouldn't hurt so that we're covering ourselves. The Division of Wildlife has to ask permission at this point.
Okay.
And I don't know why they're different.
Okay.
I'm
And
not sure what.
right now, the
it is.
DNR does not have to, but they might in the future, basically.
DNR forestry doesn't have to.
Oh, forestry.
DNR wildlife and DNR
Okay.
eco does.
Okay.
Yeah, it should all be the same, but
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the DNR acquisition of the Van Gundy portion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do you want us to move on the Han or not at this point?
no, it would save you all looking at me a second time.
Oh, we like seeing you.
It doesn't matter to me.
That's a definite,
It's
you,
not as far along in the process.
I think we'll wait.
And then just as a side note, I have a field day upcoming up by Money Creek in June. I'll leave a couple flyers in the back. So, we're gonna have a couple sawmills running. You know, people often don't know what it looks like to have a log cut up into
What's the
lumber.
date?
June 24th. I didn't bring a lot of them, but I have a bunch more. It's kind of interesting. People don't know, you know, they have logs on their land, and they see the price they get for them, and then they go to Menards and see what red oak boards cost, and they're like, So they don't quite understand that there's quite a process there, and that it's a lot of value added. A lot of people don't even know we have some really cool species around here, butternut and cherry, that people really don't know about. So it's an educational event.
I was wondering if that was at Johnny and Liz's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
There's already a nice pile of cherry here already.
Is there?
Yeah.
Cool.
We had something similar a few years ago, and I think we had like 130 people. I mean, it was well attended, so.
Can we have that
Oh,
file?
you can have that, Lila, and put it in
All
our
right,
stuff.
email it.
It looks
I
like-
would love that, that'd be
You bet.
great, yeah.
Let's look at it.
Let me write myself a note so I don't forget. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
You can keep it. Thank you. Okay, our next person is Deputy Lapham.
Morning, Commissioners. Today I'm seeking approval of the 2016 Federal Supplemental Boarding Safety Patrol Grant. Amount of $5,000, and also seeking a resolution naming Sheriff England as the authorized signer in regards to this project from this day forward.
There's a lot of reading in there.
Yeah, we got it in our packet this week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
All
same one, it's the
15
same one as we
pages.
got, same one as we had last year.
And it's not a matching one at all? it's
No.
just
It's a participation.
a- Okay. Federal?
Yep.
This is federal.
This one's federal. The one I presented 2 weeks ago, which was 5,094, that was the state one. This is
Right.
the federal one. This one is specific, has a little bit more specifics to it. The state one, you can use for training, clerical time for myself, filling out grant work. This one here is specific towards loading while intoxicated, personal watercraft operation, careless and reckless operation, those types of things.
Right.
And it's more specific to the dates too. I believe it was maybe this past, let's see here, May 13th and then through Labor Day.
Right.
So do we have a motion to approve going forward with the grant?
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Did you also approve the resolution?
That's, would be part of the motion, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to go ahead with the human services update since they're all here?
Yep.
You guys are all here, right? Okay, then why don't human services come forward?
Morning.
Morning.
Well, why don't I go ahead and I'll go first and let you know what we've been doing. One thing we're working on, and we did talk a little bit about this in committee, it's not final yet, but a lot of counties around here and DHS at the state level does customer surveys. So we have a draft. We're not totally done with it. We created it. Karen provided me a couple from some counties and DHS, a couple of surveys they use with some questions. We modified them to make them apply more to Houston County, and then the other thing we did was instead of them just being, say, like from income maintenance or child support, we made them so they qualify and they would work for the social service side as well. So I did give a copy in committee to the others, but like I say, it's not final yet. We still even haven't figured out if we're going to email it out. We more than likely will hand it out when we do have a client come in, but we need to work the details out, and I just wanted you to know that we're working on that. The other thing I want to let you know about, remember when Tim Hunter was here and he talked about the Southeast Minnesota crisis phone line?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a little too early in the year, I think it was March, maybe he was here, and he did not have the statistics for the first quarter, but it's up and running. It's really a great thing, and he did share his statistics Friday at my director's meeting, so I do have those today. I won't tell you what all of them are, but I will tell you I was surprised. Houston County came in fourth out of our, I would say, what are there? I think there were 12 counties in it, but there's a lot of them located here since it is all of Southeast Minnesota. Actually, the 12 counties would be the ones in our region only, and his crisis line goes a little bigger than that, or it can go a little bigger than that. So Olmsted County, of course, had the most in the first 3 months of the year. They had like 91 phone calls, and Winona County was 49. Steele County ended up with 23. Well, all of those counties are quite a bit bigger than us. Houston County had 17. And in fact, January they had 10 alone, so I was a little surprised by that, but then I thought, well, it's really good people are calling, so it's really very worthwhile. Sunday seems to be the big day. They had 53 phone calls in the first 3 months on a Sunday. And the other day, why, I don't know, but a Thursday seems to be the next biggest. It makes sense, a Sunday would. I imagine people have time, and they have time they can think. And then the other thing that was surprising, and this surprised Tim as well, they have it 24/7, so you would think, oh, people would call in the evenings. the biggest number of phone calls were from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the day. So they are looking for more employees to help man the phone calls and to be on a team that goes out should there be a crisis during the daytime hours. And I think no one really anticipated that. So that's a little bit of a twist in here. The main caller is the person themselves, otherwise there are family and friends. Sometimes there's professionals who call in. The number one reason for people calling, and this is adults, children, it's everyone, mental health is the main concern, and the next highest one is suicide. So secondary concerns, they look at that too, and mental health is the first secondary concern, and then relationship issues are next in line. And I'm not sure, there's a risk statistic here, but I don't know if it means the biggest risks and things that are called in and they're extremely risky. I should probably clarify that, but suicide is the biggest risk and then they have other written down, and it's smaller numbers, but it's there for a reason. More females call. 63% of the phone calls are from females, and the most calls come from an age group of 36 to 54, age 36 through age 54. So if you'd like, I can send you the email on this. Would you like that, Amy? I'll do it.
No, those figures that you're giving us, are they for the entire 12-county district or just our county?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's these other ones in here are just kind of, they're a little bit random, like they happened in these other counties. So, I mean, like, think about how big Anoka County is. For some reason or other, they got one phone call in January from Anoka County, but the phone call came to our region. So, I'm not sure why that is. You know, maybe somebody knew someone in our region, but they lived in Anoka, so they were calling in to report that. That would be the possibility, I would say. When I look like at this, Wright County is way up north. They had one phone call as well that applied to our region. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I'm glad it's being used. It kind of says something about what's going on. So,
Sounds like there was a need, definitely a need for it.
I think so. I think a really big need. Yeah. The other thing we're working on in our department, I shouldn't turn over my notes. We're working on a human services employee-owned cell phone policy for those who use their cell phones for work and receive a per diem. And we've been thinking about this and studying it for a while. And the only real resource I could find was MCIT had a policy about bringing your own device and employee-owned technology in the workplace. So it's a great reference here. I called a lot of other counties and emailed other counties. The other counties don't have a whole lot out there other than how much the per diem is in their policy. We're finding that, and actually MCIT explains this very well in this handout, that the liability issues with mixing your personal phone with county information are, I mean, well, for one thing, it's not a good situation. One thing, the personal phone can be subpoenaed for court for discovery. So you, along with that, get all your personal information subpoenaed as well. And if an employee should happen to leave and they get their email taken off their phone, wiped, we call that wiping the phone, we don't wipe there could be pictures on there could be text messages, those kinds of things. So that can present a problem. Plus, a few employees over time have given their phone number, their personal one, out to clients or to vendors, things like that. And you know, they've always been encouraged not to do that. However, there is no policy out there saying that. But it does create, it creates wage and hour issues, possibly, if they don't report that time. They're looking at their phone after hours, those kinds of things. So it's kind of a can of worms. We need to tighten it up. And with that, we probably need to, we have not talked to IT yet, but we probably need to investigate the possibility of having county cell phones, going back to that, because I know we did once upon a time, and then assigning a cell phone to individual employees. There would be an initial upfront cost. You know, the plans would be very limited. We have to see. We haven't talked about it enough to really dig deep enough, but, and that's the same way with the survey too. They're in the works, we're working on them. I think it's probably really important for you to know that we're working on that. And
Is this something that's statewide, rather, or are we looking at just the county?
well, we're looking at our county. The state of Minnesota, really all I could really get was the MCIT recommendations here, and that was just on their website. It really is a good resource. I haven't read through all of it, but they talk about, I mean, there's positives and negatives. They say having your own cell phone can increase productivity as employees are able to use the devices which they're most familiar with. And I know it's kind of a pain to have to carry around 2 cell phones. So, you know, we've got to work a little harder on it yet before we really make decisions and before we ask you to make decisions. I think probably the thing that concerns me the most is the litigation holds and the discovery in court. And, you know, right now I know employees have passwords and everything on their phones, and that's a good thing. That protects us some. So I think we're covered that way. However, the litigation and the discovery, it really needs to be addressed. So we will be doing that. The other thing I want to bring up, and it's just one last item, and I'm bringing this up because I am unsure of how to proceed, and I'm hoping you can help me. We are waiting to go through our applications. The opening for the 2 positions, 2 child protection positions you approved on March 29th. The merit scores came back on a week ago Tuesday. So, and I emailed with the HR department a little bit, and we went back and forth, and I guess I do have the email here. Anyway, since that March 29th date, you know, April 19th, we ended up with a probationary employee that we do need to replace as well. So there really are 3 openings. Well, Tessa's advice to me, and this is where I need to know what to do. Regarding the 3 openings, since we have an ongoing search, it does not make much sense to ask to spend dollars on another search, and yeah, I agree with that. Once the candidates from this pool have been properly vetted, recommendations can go to the board for 3 hires. Well, my only problem is I think before we're looking for 3, we have to ask your blessing and your approval of replacing the employee. So, but it's up to you. How would you like us to proceed? Because I don't know.
So we're replacing, okay,
Yeah,
1 FTE for 1 FTE
yeah,
all the way through.
yeah. And the thing is the search that was out there and the people applied already, the applications are sitting there, and this really fits very nicely into the current search we did. The problem is the newspaper says 2. You know, I don't know if that's a problem or not, but that it does say 2 vacancies, so then this would increase it by 1. So it's really your choice. You want to go with?
So it's basically just putting it in the minutes that we're approving 3 positions instead of 2,
I believe so, yeah.
rather than re-advertising.
Any issues that you can see?
No, I think you'd be wise to just go with that
Yeah.
pool.
Well, and we
And
could
save
talk
money.
about it
Rather
when
than-
Ms. Kruger comes in too, so that we know
Oh,
what.
yeah, that'd be great. I'm all for it, that's good. Yeah, and I mean, this email is dated Friday, May 13th, so it would have been Friday last week, so it's really very recent, so she'll know. Okay, do we need a motion in a second? No?
No, we'll just wait and talk with,
Okay. Sounds good.
since she's HR, we'll run it by
That's
her.
great, that's fine, thank you.
We received, as you know, there's performance measures that the state has implemented for human services. We received the second of our 3 series. The first one was with child support. The second one is with cash assistance and staff timeliness. Houston County, we've done historically very well. We know there's some room for improvement. We've got some plans in place, but our threshold that we have to meet for our expedited cases, so somebody comes in and they meet criteria, the state is looking at how many cases we're approving within a 24-hour period. We are currently at 71.4%. The threshold is 55, and they would like us to be at 83, so we're getting there. Statewide average is 59.4. So we are doing that. The thing with the 1 day is it's not the actual state measure that we're looking at when we're looking at our state ME or our quality control. With that, we need to be processing within 5 business days. So this is just an extra measure of if somebody comes in with a need, how quickly can we get that done? The other part is we need to approve any of our cash and SNAP applications within 30 days. And we're currently at 87.9% with that. The threshold is 75 and our high performance is 90. So again, we're really close to that 90%. So we have reports and we're really trying to continue to monitor that. But overall as a region, we rank very well. We're at 71.4 on the 1 day, and the next county is 70.7. And then with our 30-day processing, we're number 2 in our region as far as that goes. So those were really good numbers. And we're just happy to continue to meet those. On a similar note, we have our ME reviews, which are the SNAP management evaluations every 3 years. They are changing that up a little bit this year. Being we just had one last year, we're not included this year, but they are looking at trying to come up with ways. The state and the feds issue bonus dollars to counties that meet certain criteria, or the top 4, that type of thing. So we have a new program that's coming out, and we have a training in June to learn how to use some different reports, different things. They're looking at the 24-hour timeliness. And with that, our goal is 55%, and we're at 71.4 for 2015. They're also looking at our expedited 5-day. This one I don't have Houston County's numbers. That's where we're working on some reports to get those. But the state is at 78.3, and we need to be at 96%. And again, with a 30-day for SNAP only, the state's at 89, and we need to be at 96. And historically, we've done very well as a county. The reporting tools haven't been available to us for a while, so hopefully in June, I'll be able to give you some of those numbers. But we are looking at ways, how can we improve, what can we do different, so that we can meet those measures. And then my last thing is just about MNsure. I just wanted to update you that it is appearing that the periodic data match, which is implementing almost a 6-month review for our MNsure cases, that will be starting, and I believe that'll happen in October. They were looking at July, but we would have had to have notices out by now. So we've at least got hopefully a couple-month reprieve on that. Hennepin County has been doing some looking, and they're anticipating anywhere from a 38 to 50% increase. The hard part is we don't know. There's no good way to find out which cases are going to ping off the hubs with inaccurate information. So that's kind of a guessing game and a wait and see. And then we're also looking at the migration, which will start in October as well. That's taking cases from Maxis and putting them into the MNsure system. In anticipation of all of this, we are training a worker, and we're really looking at our structure and how our banks are set up, and we're going to have to pull somebody from our Maxis team onto the MNsure team to be able to help work through some of these issues that we have going on. So next couple months will be busy again, but we're going to try and alleviate some and see where we can pull resources from. So, and child support is really great. I always want to get them in there. They just keep plugging along. So, no one else is good news there. So.
Yes, actually, your numbers are amazing. You guys have really, they're just really good. Yeah, if you compare them to the other counties in our region, they're right up there. So,
Recognition Month in such services. It is Adult Mental Health Awareness Month, so I really would like to recognize our adult mental health workers, Sharon Lapham, Tammy Peterson, Linda Lucian, and Erin Koniak for the work that they do. May 7th was Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, and there our workers are Jennifer Daly Oaks, Missy Folk, Erin Koniak, and Haley Johnson. And May is also Supervised Visitation Awareness Month, and we made a change a couple of months ago to have some home health aides through public health do our supervised visits, and we have 3 of them doing them right now, Erin Bauer, Karen Keller, and Erin, and that has been extremely helpful. With our workers not doing the visits, it's giving them more time to do the things that they need to do. These 3 ladies have stepped in and taken on stuff for us, they ask questions. We just really can't say enough thanks to public health for doing this for us. We're busy in each unit. I shared a little bit of committee that in adult protection, we've got a financial exploitation case we're working on. Those can be time consuming. It's a lot of data to go through. Adult mental health, we're looking at an early intervention to hopefully stave off having to do a commitment. In child protection, we've got our placements or CHIPS cases, which entails a lot of court hearings, a lot of court reports, home placement plans to do. Children's mental health, we've been for quite a few months, almost 6 now, doing a placement search for a teenager. We have found a placement that we're hopeful will be sustained. And in waiver, our Mid Choices is keeping everybody busy. Lisa went out and did her first Mid Choices assessment last week, which is great news. So we'll get another assessor in the office. Other good news in that area is that this September was supposed to be when counties were doing county and location screenings. So any Winona, Fillmore County residents, because we do have quite a few that live in our Able homes, we would have to do their screenings. But then, of course, any of ours that live in Winona or Olmsted, that county would do. But they are looking at pushing that off a little ways. But I think that would be helpful because those are going to be difficult because those are not individuals that we know. They're going to be new. They're going to be time consuming. So if they push that back a couple of months in the next year, I think that would be helpful for all counties. And then the last thing, I'm working with IT to update our website a little bit. We had looked at it a couple months ago and added the adult reporting link for Mark, but there isn't a very good link or information on reported child abuse, so we're going to look at making a little bit of a change so that community members, if they're searching, can hopefully find that easily.
Thank you.
Questions?
Any questions for her?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You do
you.
a good job
Thank you.
in that department.
Engineer Pogozinski, would you like to come forward a little ahead of schedule?
I apologize, I forgot to call you yesterday. I got busy, I just remembered this morning when I walked in, so I apologize.
I'm on the agenda for a couple items today. The first one is transfer of FAA entitlement funds from Houston County to Elbert Lake. I was in and got approval last week to transfer up to $300,000 from Houston County to Elbert Lake. Been dealing with a lot of phone calls and emails over the past week. The FAA does not want to have money from Winona to Houston County over to Elbert Lake. They said it's a complex process and they don't want to go that route. Additionally, the funding from Winona County was loaned from Houston County to Winona back in 2009, and that was 2006 money given to Winona. In 2012 is when that money was supposed to come back to us. We didn't have a need for it, so there's no reason for us to get money that's expiring. If we're not going to spend it, then it goes back to us fast and disappears. So what the FAA is proposing is that we get the $150,000 from Moorhead that is actually rated and added to our account, and we transfer $176,900 from Houston County to Elbert Lake, and the money that we loaned to Winona, the $123,100, goes directly from Winona to Elbert Lake. And then we create an agreement between ourselves and Elbert Lake to get the $176,900 from Elbert Lake back to us in 2019. We don't have a need for that money prior to that. same type of deal with the bigger reports, getting more money into us quicker. So my recommendation is to get approval, again, just a revised number in amount of $176,500. And then, you know, with the board knowing that we will not get that money back until now, I'm just going to go direct from now to Elberly.
Which is a little more streamlined instead of, I get why they're doing it, so. Sure, so you need approval for $176,000 to Albert Lee from Houston.
$176,900.
I'll move to approve transfer of $176,900 of FA entitlement funds to Albert Lee.
Is there a second?
Second that?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Sure, you'll have the transfer agreement along with that second document, transfer of entitlements. If you can get that to me right away.
Okay.
When it's done, that way can go to government. The deadline's actually, that he was looking for is they wanted to have the stuff by the 15th, but because it's been so complex, it's taken longer. So the quicker we get that document over to Elberly, the quicker it gets up to that and happier they'll be. Next item, kind of our last minute addition is approval of highway right-of-way plat number 65 to replace a bridge on County 19 of a super saw pitted bluff campground. We could wait a week to come back in and do this. It's routine. If it comes back in next week, it'll be either Dick or Justin Conway will come in and present on my behalf. This is a bridge that is, well, it's aging and due for replacement. If we get the plat approved, then we can go out there and start getting the acquisition process started. Get this bridge taken care of, replaced either this fall after Labor Day or potentially 2017 after Labor Day. We'll be working on getting some funding from the state. And if I can wait a year to get funding, if we don't get it this year, I'll do that. But I want to be ready in case we do get funding to go ahead and build it.
You said land acquisition. We have to get more land for this, or?
Yeah, so for this project, we need to acquire new right-of-way, approximately 2/3 of an acre of new right-of-way, plus another 8/10 of an acre of temporary right-of-way. It'll be a 2-year easement that disappears. So not a whole lot of land. We've already been talking to landowners in the past that we affected and stuff, so they're aware of the project. They're aware of the impacts.
So you just need to approve the initial plat drawings to say, hey, this is the project, this is what we're intending on doing, and then after that, get the land and then start the project, right?
Yeah, after the plat's approved, then we go and we start getting the land and we do the project.
Is there any reason we wouldn't approve this today?
It's pretty straightforward. It's not at all.
Motion to approve plat for right-of-way project in County 19, bridge replacement.
We have a
Second.
second. We have a tie on a second.
Pick one.
We'll go with Dana. I saw his lips move first. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You can sign that pen right there.
One quick reminder to Teresa and Judy, tonight is the meeting with Polk Township. We're going to turn back Peterson Drive and Private Drive. So, meet the townships.
I think we're meeting at 6:30 at private.
6:30 in Private will be the field part of the official public meetings at 8:50. Thank you.
Were we discussing the stuff from last week this week, or?
Brian and I were going to actually chat on the phone a little bit about that. Judy
I was just asking if we were going to discuss our stuff from last week this week.
It would be nice to provide some type of feedback to the two consultants, that came in here, and if you want to pursue that or contemplate it longer, and just have to contact them up and tell them that we're on hold, and we'll get back to them or reject them both. So,
Yeah, I guess, after our meeting Wednesday night, it's clear that the school's out of the question. So then, we're going to have,
It's pretty evident that the Spring Grove facility is not popular also.
correct.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I don't think we need to go out and spend money on a study on two areas that would not be utilized. So that'd be the case, I guess, yeah, we would have to reject the proposals, since that's what they were based on, was those two. And I guess if need be, I'd make a motion to reject the proposals from both HSR and CBS Squared on the basis that two of those sites are out of the question.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any other discussion?
I feel that we should reject it also, because we don't need to spend the money on the sites we asked about. But I still think that we need to keep in consideration the Roverwood property in Spring Grove if we can't get more than 6 acres at our present site.
True.
I mean, 6 acres is not big enough when you're thinking of a stormwater pond, et cetera. So I think we need to keep the Roverwood in our vision,
Keep in our back pocket?
definitely.
I would agree.
Not necessarily study it, I guess.
I don't think we
Yeah.
need
No,
to
we don't
study
need-
it, but I think
we
we
don't.
need to not take it off the table.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion to just reject the
bids.
two bids. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Want me to just work with Justin Steves for his next steps?
Yeah, go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
How about if we have a motion to approve putting the items on file for the consent agenda? That just is our correspondence with Spring Grove veterans.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Was that what we were, sorry, I'll second that. Is that what we were talking about last week, right?
Memorial.
Yes.
Yeah, that-
And Shar put in the letter she sent to them, or just sending our support, not money.
Mhm.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Chomey, are you ready?
Yeah. The thing I had last week was just the Wednesday night meeting at the school. It was a very good meeting, well attended. And that invite we got from Farm Bureau last week, I talked to some people who are a member of that, and they're looking to get a way for us commissioners to meet them at Shooting Star, not have to go to Rochester and come.
What Shooting Star?
Native Seed, Shooting Star Native Seeds over in Spring Grove.
Okay.
They're coming from Rochester, and they're going to start their tour at Shooting Star. And I said, I talked to Teresa, it'd be nice to go to it, but I don't want to go to Rochester and have to come back, and then it ends up back in Rochester, and you got to come home. So
Mhm.
they are working on transportation for any commissioners that would like to attend that. And I'm looking forward to it myself.
Mhm. Okay.
That's it.
That's the one on July 22nd.
Yep.
Commissioner Walter?
Well, I also attended our joint meeting last week. There were about 70 people that were there in the auditorium, not counting the boards. And 15 people spoke, and I did take notes on what each one said and who they were and stuff. And I agree we are not going to pursue this at this time, the 22 acres by then. Still would have been ideal if we could have done a trade for the adjoining land to our highway department for the 22 acres, but we'll move on from there. So, and then the next morning I had a joint powers meeting with Workforce Development and in Rochester, and I forgot to send all that links to you to the rest of the board to see what they're working on with their plan that has been submitted now to the state, and then the state submits it to the federal government to get funding for the workforce development plan. So one of the big things that's been going on is IBM went from 30 buildings in a big complex down to 8 buildings. That's a really big one. Bard, which is a big industry and actually in Stewartville, is going to Mexico, and so they actually did like urinary catheters, but now the previous owner of Bard is starting a business probably in the same site because they're brand new buildings, and they have a no compete clause, so they're doing another type of medical device like for colostomies, that type of stuff. So that's good news, but we've been working very close with the people from Bard to help them find new jobs or get education for new jobs. So those were our 2 big ones that are moving on. I will get that information to you with that PowerPoint that's on their website this week. So
Sounds good.
I said that the joint meeting on Wednesday that everybody else was at, but interesting thing, I just talk about that, what Teresa was just mentioning with Bard and Minnesota Medical Technologies. I actually designed both assembly lines for both of those companies. And it is unfortunate Bard did pull out, took all their people down to Mexico. Quite a few jobs, but luckily Minnesota Medical Technologies with Phil Conway's opened up a business, and hopefully will be as big or bigger than what they had before and supply a lot of those jobs. So the timing worked out good, but hopefully some of those other individuals will be able to get some jobs and possibly doing the same job that they were doing before. So yeah, so kind of interesting that and unfortunate, that the way the economy works now, that you go to Mexico because it's cheaper, and unfortunately people lose their jobs up here. So that's it.
Yeah, I just had the committee meeting.
Okay, I had solid waste on Wednesday also. The annual meeting is June 17th in La Crosse. You're all invited to attend. They've had close to 9,000 mattresses diverted from the county landfill this last year, so that was really good. And we're talking about putting it more as a diversion plan than a recycling plan, because our main focus is to not have it in the landfill so we can extend the life of it. But the person who's doing the recycling is doing all right, and they're finding really good ways to do it. So I think that that's a successful program. And then I also had the joint meeting on Wednesday night, and I think one of the things that we're open to is public input about where else, if anybody has ideas on other places, we're still open to it. And I guess that was all that I had. How about if we go ahead with the discussion items right away? Can we approve claims, human services, and license center disbursements?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, but I got one quick question. There was a deal in there for $8,000 for, it just kept saying plumbing supplies.
Minnesota Pipe and Equipment?
That's
Yeah, bathrooms,
that
that
has to do
Wildcat
with
stuff?
Wildcat.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was wondering if that's
And the
not what that
well.
was.
And the well.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, did you all get a chance to look at the paperwork on the abatement for the Valley View Nursing Home?
we're going to make a motion on the
We haven't done
claims
the first one yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we'd have a motion on the, and a second.
Yes.
And now we had the discussion, we need to vote, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we can move on
Yes.
to approve the abatement for Valley View Nursing Home. Did everyone get a chance to look at the paperwork that came out?
That was a big
That was a
difference.
big one.
That's a huge difference.
What did they calculate it wrong to begin
They
with,
did.
measure-wise?
Yeah.
That's
I think they
huge.
maybe had some old outdated information.
So do we have a motion to approve the abatement?
Motion to approve the abatement for Valley View Nursing Home.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we already did the third item.
Yep.
So I think we'll go to Ms. Kruger.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
These are original contracts that we
Okay.
discussed this morning. So, we have well, we'll start with environmental services real quickly. Environmental services there is a planned leave of absence that will, for one of the office staff is going to necessarily need to be gone for a period of time. And we are looking for approximately 2 months. So we are requesting that the board consider appointing a 67-day employee to be used as needed. Certainly, there is going to be, the employee is going to be able to possibly do some work. The employee that will be on leave may be able to at some point do some work from home. Also, other office staff is going to be stepping in and assisting, but there is going to be a need for a 67-day employee on occasion. And so that's going to be at the discretion of the department head. So
I'll make a motion.
respectfully request.
Pardon? I was going to say, I'll make a motion to look for a 67-day employee to cover a leave of absence.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, I forgot. Did anybody want to discuss? No? Okay.
Okay. Next, real quickly, the extension office. You know, we had put a half-time county employee in there to assist during the process of going through the search. And we had asked initially for a search of 0.6 FTE to fill the position on a regular basis. It has, I've talked with the region office, with Chuck at the region office, as well as the temporary employee in there, and this is not going to be a part-time position. There's no way that we can do it that way. So what we're looking at doing right now, we're really coming up on a heavy season with 4-H and all. We are looking at doing a couple of things. Hiring a 67-day employee to work 1 day a week, necessarily backing out our employee that we have in there for 2.5 days. So it'll be a 67-day employee for 1 whole day a week. Our other employee that we reassign for 2 days a week. And then I'm looking to search this position as a 1 FTE. Having said all that, if you go to the next page, we would then be looking, first of all, to approve the search for a 67-day employee for that 1 day to assist during the course of the search. And,
So you would be asking for, right now, we have someone in there for 2.5.
2.5, we have Nancy Welch from probation, from corrections office, was doing it. If she, if we have, she's saying it's very difficult to do this job on a half-time basis.
Mhm.
That said, temporarily, we are looking at doing that just for a half-time right now while we search it. In fairness to a person trying to get someone to come in, we would probably want to not have them there a half day, have them there a full day, or I'm not sure they would even be able to get anything done in a half day.
Mhm.
So she's agreeable then to back her temporary assignment from 1 FTE down to 0.9 FTE, which is reflected in the third sub-bullet there. That allows us then to fill the other position the other day with 67-day employee, and increase our search from a .6 to a 1.0 FTE. And I've spoken with Chuck twice on this, and we thought we were going to be able to go reduce this position, but we're not. And it's not simply a matter of people being new in the office. It was just way too much.
I spoke with Chuck Schwarthoff from Extension also, and it was a trial to see if we could get by with less time. And after trying it for a couple months now, it's not working. And like you said, we're getting into fair season, 4-H season, and it's really obvious that we need more. We have to go back to what we originally had, a one full-time person.
So do we have a motion for that?
So do we can do this all in one motion, I would think, to approve a 67-day employee to supplement and search for a one full-time for Extension office.
And reduce Nancy Welch to a .9.
And reduce Nancy
Her
to...
temporary assignment to .9.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep in mind, the temporary assignment will go away the same
Mhm.
day we're appointing the person.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Now here we are with Highway Department. We have bittersweet information to bring you. We're pleased to congratulate and announce the retirement of Roger Pearson, who has been an employee that will have served the county 40 years and has announced his retirement.
And I keep hearing what an excellent backhoe person he is from another office.
We
Yeah,
had
right.
a committee.
Yeah, we mentioned the SEC committee. Roger has been digging a lot of corners around the county for the county surveyor. He's probably dug 300, 400 corners around the county. He's one of our main road grader blade operators and stuff, so that's a key person for us. We only have a couple individuals that are real proficient on the blade, and he's one of them. So he's served the county well for a long time, and yeah, wish him the best in retirement, and he'll be missed.
So we're looking for a motion to accept Mr. Pearson's retirement effective the end of business day, May 31st, 2016, and to wish him a hearty congratulations in his retirement.
Do we have a motion to accept his resignation or notice of retirement?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? It's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That said, we are requesting a permission to conduct a competitive search immediately to fill this position. 1 FTE.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that a motion.
Second that.
Can we put in that they have to stay for 40 years?
Only if
We
you
can't,
say-
but good luck filling that position.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Pearson came here in the spring of 1976. Next, we have Human Services, Clinical Affiliation Agreement. You have a copy of that agreement in front of you. It has gone past there was considerable negotiation involved in this one. It has been approved by the county attorney's office, and Bethany, you want to make some comments about it?
Just that we're hoping that you'll sign it. We are excited about a summer intern. She goes to school in North Dakota, but her family is from locally in Houston County, La Crosse County, and she wanted to come back here for the summer. We are very excited about interns and to see what they are excited about learning. And the one thing, Samantha, that I am excited for her is that a lot of interns come and they want to be a child protection worker because that's what they see on TV, that's what they hear about, that's what they think about when they think county. But there's other things that we offer, and she is not coming set in stone with one program. And so we are hoping that she gets to take the time to go out with every single worker and see what makes her excited about social work and what she would like to do when she leaves here at the end of the summer.
What is different, why this is being brought as a clinical affiliation agreement, is UND, University of North Dakota, requires that for all their interns. They require concrete collaboration between the department and the social work, I'm not sure what the name, I can't recall the name of the department, but the social work department at the university there as well. So there's a clear agreement up front on the expectation of the experience that the student will be learning. This is not a paid internship, however, the student is paying for credits for this internship. And so the differences that were between us were jurisdictional, obviously, because we are both governmental entities of separate states. So that's where we are. Anything else?
No, I'd just like to thank Tess and Sam for their work on that because it did go back and forth a couple different times. It wasn't.
Out of curiosity, what year in school is she?
Her senior year.
Oh, okay. So is this something that
This'll
looking
be-
at developing into potential position later? Or?
I don't know. I don't know if she wants to stay around here, but
So talk to her really nice for the
Yeah.
next summer.
show how great it is here.
Yeah, it's how great it is in Houston County.
So do we have a motion to approve the clinical affiliation agreement with UND for the student intern?
I'll make a motion to approve the clinical affiliation agreement.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So this is an agreement with UND, right? So does this, once this is in place, does this allow, if for some reason another student from UND wants to do an intern, this is already in place for the future too,
Yes.
correct? Good.
For a period of 5 years, I believe it states in there. Each student, though, will have to have a separate learning experience agreement. We did negotiate that we can remove the student from the position at any time the department deems it's necessary to protect the interest of the county and their clients. Obviously, because it's an educational experience, the university has state and federal requirements as to when you withdraw a student against their will, so to speak, out of the classroom experience. And so those are also discussed in there as far as what the county's obligation to cooperate with them should that need be done, which I doubt if that's going to occur. But it is good for 5 years. It does not obligate the county in any way to accept future interns. So if we find that it's a burden, we do not have to accept future interns. But it's a wonderful opportunity for both the county as well as the students. And an internship is required for most clinical experience is required, I should say, for most of these programs.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next agreement you have in front of you. Thank you.
Go ahead, I don't have your agenda in front of me. But
Yeah,
the
quick.
county board did, one more human services thing, the county board did talk earlier about the height of 3
Yeah, we got it.
instead of the 2, amending that.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, I sent an email saying I don't believe you have to have another search for that.
Great.
Certainly we can
And we all
approve that.
agree
So we're
that
just
we
gonna
should
vote
need
that?
to change the minutes to
Okay.
say that we're looking for 3 people,
Well,
Because
basically.
yeah, we would technically
will.
be able to change the minutes if they're already approved,
Well, I
but
don't
to
mean
go
to
back
change
and
them.
amend
Yeah, it says two.
the
Well,
request.
It just says 2.
Change it now.
Sorry, but I know
To
the
add
number
to
2.
this.
Supplement that.
my
Yeah.
recommendation is that you use the current search pool that you have right now and look for that and and if you want to make that motion to search for 3 at this time.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to search for 3?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item in front of you is the labor agreement between the County of Houston and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 49, Engineering Assistance. This is the first agreement we have with this unit. It is it was a long time coming. This unit, I believe, started organizing in 2013. Things were put on hold for a while. We did negotiate a memorandum of agreement with the union for payment of salary in 2014. So those salary and benefits and those things are for 2014 are not in here because we haven't been aware of that. However, in this agreement, what you will note that's a little different is we have the certification pay as well as the for all their inspection certifications that they required to have to do their inspections, such as for concrete, etc., as well as their clothing allowance and all of that. We did not pay those in 2014. We held those as items to be continued to be negotiated. With our 2015 through 2017 agreement, we included those two items for back pay to 2014, and hence that's why you see a 14 on here. This agreement was delivered this morning by the unit with not only ratified but with full signatures. We have discussed the details of this previously, but should you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Are we supposed to be enclosed to discuss this?
And we will, I will make it with you.
Okay.
What you will see is the pay for this unit. There's 3 assistant engineers. The pay for 2015, 16, and 17 includes increases that are consistent with what was offered other units, 2.5, and 3%. And the health benefits are consistent with those offered in NAEP and ASME.
Is this the last union contract are we done?
We are done until 2017, when we'll start negotiations for the next.
Okay. Wow.
So do we have a motion to approve the labor agreement?
Well, I got to stop. I'm a little confused. Closed session labor negotiations. What are we closed talking about labor negotiations if we're already passing the contract?
I don't have labor negotiations.
I don't think the closed session is labor.
It's just
Well,
a
I'm just saying it
separate-
says
it's a
closed
sep-
session
It's a
labor.
separate item. It doesn't say closed.
So what is the closed session for then, if it's not listed?
Personnel.
Okay, now I'm going to have some beef, because if it's personnel and I'm not informed, and yet it's closed session, I'm under the impression it's for labor negotiations here.
No, it's not. There's.
Well, I have nowhere that we have closed session for personnel. The only thing we've got is closed session, and underneath it says labor, AFL-CIO.
I will be happy to address that with you.
Okay, so now, this just opened up a huge can of worms.
Commissioner, we've had closed sessions on the labor before.
Yep.
I have informed us recently that we have a tentative agreement on this agreement.
Mhm. Which I'm fine with, and that's fine, and we can go through and approve this. What I have beef with now is that this is indicating that we have a closed session for something other than personnel.
I disagree. It doesn't indicate that any reason for the closed session, which it may be your concern, but it doesn't indicate.
So before we
listed
go any
underneath
further,
closed session is
can
labor.
we just
Commissioner,
take
there are
the,
3 main headings: staffing, closed sessions, labor. It is not a subheading underneath closed sessions.
It's assumed as a subheading unless it's determined otherwise. If it should say closed session, personnel, we've done that many times before, closed session, personnel under 13D05. Right. We'll get to that. We'll finish this labor thing. We'll get to that closed
so
session.
do we have a motion to approve the labor agreement between the local 49ers, AFL-CIO engineering assistants?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion?
As always, I will be voting in the negative because I do not feel that the contract was appropriate with the raises.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I'm happy to address the.
I think we should, I'd like to make a recommendation that we go to public comment period and then
Yeah.
do closed session at the very end.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
So these people can go.
All right, this being the third, is this all right with everyone if we move into the public comment and then we'll come back for the closed session? Okay, so we'll do public comment now, and then we'll come back for. So this is the third Tuesday of the month, so this is our public comment time, and we just ask that everyone be respectful. If you'd like to give public comment, please raise your hand to be acknowledged by the board. Is there anyone who would like to comment? Yes?
Ryan Van Moor, Weekend Township. I suspect some of you have received propaganda from the Heartland Institute about fracking and frac sand mining because it's their policy to try to influence elected officials against public opinion. And in fact, we know that some of you have emailed back and forth with the Heartland Institute. The Heartland Institute obviously is a fossil fuel funded propaganda organization, and any of their information should be taken as such. They have an obvious conflict of interest, and as proof of their lack of knowledge, they're climate science deniers, which means they're science deniers. So their perspective should be taken with that huge grain of salt. I also want to make the point that those of us in favor of a ban on frac sand mining are not a fringe group or extremists. We actually represent the majority opinion as proven by any poll that's been taken or who shows up for public hearings, etc. We are the majority opinion, and even on a national, there was recently a national frac sand mining conference in La Crosse. Twice as many protesters showed up as attendees for this conference. So I guess what I'd like to say is you'll have to choose who you want to serve. The fossil fuel industry lobbyists or your constituency. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to comment? Come forward, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yvonne Crowdstead, California Township. I just want to say I'm pleased that the Planning Commission and the board listened to the neighbors when the conditional use permit application by G&K Development / Brewing was considered and the conditions that you put on that permit. Thank you. Secondly, last August, you passed the motion that the Highway Department building be at the current site. So I don't understand why you are still looking for other places. If the current architect is unwilling or reluctant to design a building other than on a level ground, maybe you should look for a different architect. There's no reason the building could not be offices above and the mechanic repair below or whatever. Also at that public meeting it was brought up maybe the cold storage building could be separate from this maintenance department building. So it's some things to consider. But in 9 months since you approved the current location, you have not moved one step forward. Why is that? Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Anyone else who would like to address the board? Then public comment is finished. Ms. Kruger, would you like to come back up, please?
This time, I would respectfully request, so that I can explain the purpose, the board go into closed session pursuant to 13D.05 subdivision 2 for preliminary consideration of allegations against an employee under its employer.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it. And who is the employee?
Can we discuss that after we go into closed session?
Determined to go into closed session.
All in
I thought when it was
favor?
requested, it would have to be asked for.
Linda Black.
Okay.
Can we call,
Well, Linda's here. Linda, if I'm mistaken, Linda has the opportunity to go close or not
She has the
close.
right to request the meeting if she chooses to be public.
Okay. Do you want it to be public or closed?
I would like the meeting to be public. I do need to state, because of the lateness of receiving this notice, I had it hand delivered to me yesterday at 4 o'clock. I tried to call my union representative right away, and of course got no one, so this morning I did get a phone call. And they physically cannot be here this morning. However, I would like an open session in spite of that, because I know right now that I did not knowingly make one or more incorrect statements to the Board of Commissioners.
Before
I
you
did
get
not knowingly do that. So.
Before you get going, Linda, there's another issue here that needs to be dealt with prior to getting to this. Something stinks to high heaven. Bad. Now I question why, if we have a personnel issue, and I'm on the personnel committee, I'm not informed of this. Now, it gets brought to the attention of the board this morning. It says closed session. And I ask, what's a closed session for? Judy says, I don't know. Steve says, personnel. Now, who's lying to who? This is getting a little ridiculous, people trying to push their own agendas. Now, as a board member and as somebody on the personnel committee, I would like to be informed of what's going on. And I haven't been. Now, when I come in, Judy says she doesn't know what's going on. Steve says it's personnel, and I don't know.
it wasn't to be discussed before it went into closed session.
But you said you didn't know what was going on. So when I ask what is the closed session for, in order to approve an agenda, I do not feel comfortable, nor should anybody feel comfortable approving something they know nothing about.
Commissioner, I did send a letter this. I take it we're not going into closed session. May I proceed?
Sure.
I will respond to your question, Commissioner. I did bring this to the attention of the board chair. I am not certain. I told her she could, at her discretion, share it with a committee member.
So she did know that this was a personnel issue about Linda.
Right, and the reason I didn't say anything is because I
You didn't
didn't
not
think...
say anything. You said you didn't know.
Commissioner,
She
might I
did, she
finish?
actually said that she could not talk about it.
No, she didn't. And we can go back in the deal. You said, I said, what's this about? And you said, I don't know.
It's related to the Human Services Department, sir. We met previously,
And
I have
who's
had-
we?
the Personnel Committee,
Okay.
to discuss things.
About this? I'm cutting you off, Tess, because
Well, if you want
you
to
say
see
that this
my
is not.
response, Commissioner, you may try to do so.
You
But
said you met with Judy, and then you said you met with personnel. I'm
No,
on the
he
personnel, and
didn't.
I
She
never
didn't
met.
say that she met with me. She sent
All
me a
right,
letter.
keep going. Keep going.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jackie, what's your number today?
Any further business?
Is that